I got both hands off the wheel. The cops are coming. I'm listening to the music with no fear. You can hear it too if you're sincere. 'Cause I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Well, I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. 'Cause I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Well, I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. I see you stagger in the street, and you can't stay on your feet, and you're faking in your sleep. You wish that you were deep. You can't hear me laughing to myself. If you could, you would be someone else. 'Cause I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Well, I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. 'Cause I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Well, I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. See me die on Bleecker Street. I'm bored with being God. See me sneering in my car. I'm driving to my star. I'm listening to the music with no fear. You can hear it too if you're sincere. 'Cause I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Well, I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. 'Cause I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Well, I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. 'Cause I'm a punk rocker, yes I am. Well, I'm a punk rocker, yes I am.
Okay, I'm here. Let's get started in some jigsaw puzzles. Let me actually, give me a second, because I did not actually set this up properly before stream.
That's nice.
That's nice. See, nope. Nope. There we go. I'm not missing this time. Hey, Cheeseroni, welcome. If you guys want to join, if you would like to join me in this game, it is a free game on Steam. It is called Jigsaw Puzzle Dreams. You can download it for free. You can join me for free. Do multiplayer. So room code, even though there's no room yet. Go to custom. Bam. Got myself a granola bar here, and we're gonna let our worries go. We're not gonna let the financial stress get to me. What a chapter it's been, you know? Yeah, possible major plot holes that I will be dissecting when I get around to writing the script for this chapter, which I should start soon. Yeah. Sue chapter. We love that. We are at least out of the the Sue X David danger. It is, we are out of the danger zone, guys. I am very pleased by this. Honestly, I needed some good news today, and that was the good news. I now no longer have to play in traffic on the interstate later. So there's actually a lot to this chapter, so when I do my review, it will be a scripted thing instead of me just talking off the cuff, because there's a lot of angles that I have to address. Namely, this chapter was initially part of the original plans for method acting, and then it just got spun off into his own chapter. Which, like, sure, but it's also a little awkward. It's kind of like how After You is a direct, like, it immediately happens during the timeline for, I think it's, what the fuck is the chapter called? Unspoken Rule. And then it's cut short, and then it's After You. All takes place on the same day. Actually, I think... Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that's correct. So it's like that. Except it was all supposed to be part of one chapter originally, it seems. Even though Tashi said that it was a scrapped chapter. So. We'll see. I still have a lot of videos I gotta make. A lot of videos. Well, not really. Well, kind of make, but also edit. I'm still editing the frickin' hot takes video. I'm very slowly getting through that. I've just been very stressed out today, so I haven't been super focused on it. Granted, I haven't been super focused recently on it, but I have been editing it little by little and coming up with like new funny video ideas. Like memes and stuff. That might seem lazy, but honestly, it's just a meme I should do at some point. So let's just do it and get it out of the way. I know I'm not talking a whole lot. Why are you stressed out by? Oh, just money stuff. What do you think are the chances of David getting smacked or just yelled at by Sue and or Paul on the next page? The preview does seem to show Sue pissed off. It seems Amaya is also angry. I think it's going to be like in the pages, the sketch pages that Teshi released on her Blue Sky, where David's like, "Uh-oh, never mind, bye," and then he runs off. I don't think Paulo was involved in any of that, any of like Amaya like pulling up on him. I'm also just confused about the timeline of events. Like, how did Amaya talk to Jessica and Madison and David like in the time between, like, when did they have time to do this? Like, I'm very confused about when that they could have done this, because they were at lunch and then they leave lunch and Sue is complaining. So when did Amaya have time to go around and talk to all these people? How Paulo will react remains to be seen. I think he will react with surprise. I know the way Teshi likes to write Paulo and Sue's dynamic is that Paulo is probably going to say something very snarky to her and not make the situation better. But I'd like to believe that maybe this time Paulo will be nice and throw Sue a bone, and then I can finally rest. I can be like, "See guys, I was right the whole time." Even though even though, you know, you don't need this proof for me to be right. Yeah, it's rather confusing, doesn't really line up. There's a lot of stuff in this that doesn't line up. And it while I don't necessarily dislike the premise for this chapter, and I know that people will say, "Oh, well, you're biased because it's a Sue chapter, so like of course you're going to be fine with it." I will say that the execution of it has been a little clumsy at work. It has been confusing at best and it has been clumsy at best and confusing at worst. Did you know, chat? This is forbidden knowledge, but I'm gonna tell you. Did you know there was a time where I actually shipped Sue and David? Did you know this? You probably didn't. This is like this is back when I didn't really care about Sue. But if you go through the BCB Fannel Discord, which you can check out in the link below, you will see. I can't believe I said it too. What an idiot. Have you been noted on 27 different locked TXT file? What? 27 different locked text file? What does that mean? What is that? I bet David's in the Epstein files. I bet Alejandro's in the Epstein files. I'd make a joke about it, like actually like make a full meme about it, but it's kind of I don't know. Making memes about like sexual violence against minors is kind of even though I kind of did that a little bit, but like it's only within the fictional realm instead of like real world. Fucking James and his stupid fucking chest fluff. Was there ever is forbidden knowledge? Of course I'm keeping it. What is 27 different locked text file? What does this mean? What do you mean it's forbidden knowledge? What? Hard to imagine there was ever a chance of Sue and David being a thing with the amount of dislike between them now. It seems like she dislikes David more than she does Paulo. You could say the dislike is more like jealousy. That would be the argument, right? She really doesn't. She is shown more like actual giving a shit about Paulo than she's ever shown David. Besides, David's gonna be with James now. James now, don't you know? That was terrible. That was an awful accent. I'm sorry. James and David are the harbingers of my misery when it comes to this comic. Dude, it doesn't seem to click correctly here. I'm gonna try another. No, it's okay, Cheezeroni. I just wanted to I didn't know if there was some sussy things going on, you know. Here it is. We did it. That's about right. Alright, we need to get all the Suwoo pieces together. It would literally make my whole week if Paulo like complimented Sue's play without being prompted. If he just did it. If he felt like awkward just standing there without saying anything about it, then he's like, well, you know, I think that it was well directed. I would be like, guys, we are so back. This looks like Paulo. No, this is a Sioux head, I think. The greatest deal in the history of the greatest trade deal in the history of trade deals possibly ever. We got a James. Well, James is missing the entire right side of his face, so we should probably try to locate that for him. He's gonna need it if he's gonna remain aerodynamic to be able to run. Pretty sure this piece is over here. Like right here. By the way, for anyone joining in now, this is a free game on Steam. It's called Jigsaw Puzzle Dreams. You can download it and play it for free. You can join me for free with the room code in the top right corner. It would be nice to get some help on these puzzles. Yeah, there he goes. I have this thought that the David runs off. If he does, just feels like something you do. I don't know, we'll see. A man can dream. But dreams are just that, they aren't real. You eventually have to wake up. This is definitely over here. See, one of the reasons they don't join is the fact they'll probably mess something up. What do you mean, Cheezeroni? Join what? The thing. Oh, you mean the puzzle? You can join, it doesn't matter. The thing about waking up is we can work to make dreams reality on our ways. That is true. We're waking up to ash and dust. Wipe my brow and slap my nuts. As the great poet Radioactive once said. As the great poet Imagine Dragons once said. Don't let your ships sink, guys. If you write enough fan fictions, it will eventually become canon. This is the way. This is the way. But the biggest controversy about this chapter so far is we need to just get all the suit pieces together. Hold up, everybody. Hold on to your pants. Buckle your pants. Buckle your pants. Buckle your pants and dance. The biggest controversy over this chapter is the fact that Madison let slip that everybody in the whole school knew that Lucy tried to kill herself the day after she tried to do it. And this doesn't 100% line up with information that was previously given in the comic. And so people are trying to figure out a way that that still works and is canon. We need to find...
Hello.
Hello? Oh, hello,
Yep.
not. That's a James. I gotta make sure I don't get James's fur, because James and Sue have like very similar looking colored fur. James is a little bit
Yes.
lighter. There we go. Oh yes. Oh yes. Alright, now we're getting somewhere. Now we're cooking with gas. A little bit. Might have run out of gas, chat. Very gasless machine. This looks like a Sue eye. Yeah, it's a Sue eye. This goes not there. That doesn't go there. That almost seems like it might go there. That goes there. That looked like it. Oh wait, does this go here? Nope. So the question is that did everybody know that Lucy tried to kill herself? I have come to the conclusion after extensive research that what Madison said could still technically be true. It could still technically be true because it could... The cast could have decided that in all their time talking about Lucy, they never once wanted to mention or think about Sue or Lucy jumping to her death. And if you take it through that lens, it could still technically be true that they all knew about it. They just never mentioned knowing about it. But they never mentioned explicitly that they didn't know. I mean, it's heavily implied that... I don't know.
I mean, that kind of makes sense, yeah.
Christ. What's up?
Yeah, I just agreed. You know, it kind of makes sense when you put it like that.
I mean, it makes sense. It's just kind of like... Okay. I mean, it's not strong. It's not strong enough, I guess is the problem.
Better than nothing.
The issue is that Teshi likes to write her comic extremely vaguely, so she can later decide what she wants to actually do, it feels like.
Oh, she's freehanding this.
To an extent, I misread my available disk space for the game size. I thought the game was 200 gigabytes and almost died inside. Oh yeah, 200 gigs is kind of insane. That's like a new Call of Duty game or something. It's 200 gigs. Oh, it's Apollo face. A lot of Sue faces here. I gotta figure out where they go. This truly is a paradise.
It's great, man. More David and Sue panels.
Nope. Nope. No, we don't need that. No. We don't,
I didn't insinuate anything. I just
we
said,
don't need
you
any
know.
more of those. Don't know about that.
I don't know, man. It's kind of leading to more of those.
Definitely don't know about that. This looks like yeah. Man, Amaya is missing their eyeball. How are they going to see why kids love the great taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch without it? There's some Apollo's hair in there. Apollo kind of
How do you
looks.
think Paula and Sue would work though? Now that Paula and Daisy are together.
No, well, I mean, realistically, they were never going to be together, but I was just explaining why it would work.
Ah, I see.
I still think Paulo and Daisy are not. They have very good friend energy. They don't have great romantic chemistry.
Yeah, I can see that.
Alright, we've got a whole freaking... James's face looks like Swiss cheese, but it's coming together now. Bad, bad, Leroy Brown. Baddest man in the whole damn town. Badder than old King Kong. Meaner than a junkyard dog. Looks like a James head. Oh shit, James is coming together, guys. There we go. Let's see. It make more sense if everyone knew Blue Sea left. I don't think everyone knew about the attempt. Yeah, it's one of those things where if she just changed one word, and this happens often in BCB, where if you just changed one word or one line, it would fix all of the problems. And it's not even like it would drastically change the meaning of anything. It would just be like, I don't know. You know, for a person who totally swears that her comic isn't a furry comic, she sure does make all the boys super fluffy. Let's see. Let's find some text here. Oh. What? That's not the piece that goes there? Are you kidding? Why? face exists to torment me. There we go. Oh! Welcome. Welcome, Dizzy Cheese. There's the rest of his face. He's still missing a lot of his face, actually. That piece of hand. There we go. And I've talked about it. I don't know if it's in the hot takes video that I already released or if it's going to be the upcoming one. But a character like David can work. It's just I don't know. He's not written in a way
There's a lot
where
of readjustment.
yeah. Well, no, it's kind of too late now. It's already set.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
But like you have
He's gotta write
the
up
thing
for him.
is that like you can make the idiot guy that ends up being right or like doing the good right thing or whatever. You can make that kind of character work.
Well, I
But
don't think he's an idiot. I think he's just, tactless and, he's just really tactless and kind of insensitive at times. But I don't think he's an idiot.
I think he's an idiot. I know it's shown that he's a bit of an idiot. Like giving people on the enemy team health packs in an online game.
Oh well, okay, that's a different. I don't remember that.
That's in Ice Block, the intermission Ice Block. He's talking about he was playing some online game, and he was giving health packs to this person on the enemy team. But he didn't like. They were like, "Why are you doing this?" And he's like, "Oh well, I don't know." It's like he's just, I don't know. He's an airhead.
Yeah,
But like
sometimes I guess.
the joke is that he's an airhead that also has weirdly somehow manages to have insight on stuff sometimes that you aren't expecting it. Like okay, so in Toy Story 3, Barbie has this moment where it's towards the end of the second act. She has this moment where she says that
Go on.
authority should come from the consent of the governed, not from the threat of force. And the joke is that you aren't expecting this Barbie doll to make such an eloquent, like, serious point.
Statement.
And that's what David is. Like, that's kind of the idea of what they're trying to do with David, except it doesn't work because Barbie wasn't annoying. And David is extremely annoying.
I'm still
Or-
holding out. I'm still holding out hope. I know they can salvage David.
Or it could be like sort of like a Ernest P. Worrell thing where the guy is an idiot, but like he always manages to save the day or to do the right thing. Or like give good advice. It's just the difference is that Jim Varney was a really funny, talented guy, and he like fucking played that character expertly. It's kind of a difficult balance because it can very easily fall off into like obnoxious territory, and you lose the audience. And that's kind of what David has done. He's just annoying and stupid. And the worst part about it is that because he's so annoying and dumb, whenever he's right about something, you just get more frustrated because you don't want to admit that he's right. And
Damn.
that kind of
Okay.
that kind of character archetype sucks. It's just like you don't. I know that there are people that love David. Haha, he funny dog guy. I don't. I
That's completely fine.
I know I can see, I can understand why people would like David. It is something I can never do. It's like the end of I know I'm talking about a lot of movies today, but it's like the end of Terminator 2, spoilers, before the T-1000 lowers himself into the vat of lava and he says to John Connor, I now know why you cry, but it is something I can never do. And that's one of the greatest moments in movie history. But the point is that is with me with David. I know why you like David, but it is something I can never do. That's me.
I think core to the issue is that she just didn't invest enough in David.
Because he's not meant to be a serious. He's not meant to be like a main character. He's supposed to be like a one-liner comic relief character.
And that sucks.
But I'll say this:
I like David.
Sue and Paulo are at least. I mean, yeah, Sue and Paulo are at least honest with each other about how they feel. Like, think about all the characters in this comic. Think about how many characters are actually honest with each other about how they feel. It's not many. In fact, all the drama from the comic comes from the characters not being honest about how they feel.
Yeah, like misunderstanding each other.
Yeah, that leads to that, yeah. But and you could say, oh, well, they're not honest because they're anxious about how the other person will feel, you know, and because they really care. But I think honesty, being comfortable enough to just be honest with the other person is like, that's the lesson to be learned. And just for like in general in life, that's the lesson to be learned. So they need to. So I'm just saying, you know, the pieces are there. They're all over the place. They're in your face. You just got to put them together. You know, if it walks like a ship and it talks like a ship, it might be a ship.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, I think that's finally. Now he's missing some of his cheekers on the left side technically. But we need to find his left side cheeker. I think this is the left side cheeker. There we go. Yeah. All right. Otacon, tell me about this David character. Tell me about this dog character, Otacon. That's David, Snake. He's part of the webcomic Bittersweet Candy Bowl.
What the fuck is this?
He comes off as a major idiot, but sometimes he has insights on things that other characters don't see. Is that so, Otacon? It's true, Snake. Though most of the time he's an idiot. Huh. So it'll be easy to take out. Not so fast, Snake. He's the fastest guy at the school.
And he can teleport. Okay, to be fair, you're probably just imagination.
So, I'll put down some tripwire. Oh yeah, it's all coming together, guys.
Oh, yeah, what are you doing right now?
Let's see. It's like friends don't. It makes sense as Madison, because the only ones who likely could reasonably know are her friends, and they don't seem like they'd share that to the entire school. Yeah. But here's the other thing: just think about it, like at your high school, if somebody tried to kill themselves, I'm pretty sure I don't know if they'd know immediately the next day. Like in today's time, yeah, people would be on Twitter saying that shit. Like everybody would know the next day. But even though Twitter technically existed in 2009, I think, and I know Facebook was around, and they also bring it up in the comic. I I don't think everybody would know the next day. I think it would take over the weekend, and then everybody would know. I think it's in a certain Paul and Sue have a chance to have one of the best ship dynamics in the comic, and while they may fight, they'll always have each other's back. Yeah, if Teshi writes it that way. Just feels like potential if nothing's done with it. I mean, we've got things like rough waters. I think it's called rough waters. It's not called rough waters, but you know, confrontation, ultimate proof, and people say, oh well, that was a long time ago. The ultimate anti Paulo X Sue argument is that like maybe at some point Sue might have had feelings for him, or maybe it could have worked at some point but not anymore, because it's very clear that they despise each other. But I don't know. I think back against the wall they would definitely you know, play ball. But I do actually have a document, a Google Doc. I sat down and went through all the chapters that discuss Lucy and her not being at the school anymore. And I was not able to determine any. I'll show you guys once we're done with this, but I was not able to determine any definitive proof that uh, that they knew or didn't know. Like there are characters that I know for a fact that they know. There are characters that I know for a fact that don't know, and characters that I don't know if they do or don't know, given the information in the comic. And the only way any of it could be explained away is if they just intentionally chose never to talk about it. But the way they talk about Lucy does not indicate that something more happened, but kinda maybe. The way Sue says, "Are you sure that's all that happened?" kind of implies that Sue knew that she jumped, but like wanted her to to bring it up. And then Lucy's like, "Nope," and she's like, "Okay." We did it. Hang completed puzzle. Oh shit! You can. Oh. Cool. What time? How long are we into this? There's. Okay. Uh. So what we'll do now is I will bring up the Google Doc that I've been talking about, and I will show the comic. Oh my god. There. Who knew about the jump? This, we're gonna put on our detective hats, guys, and maybe you guys will see something I didn't, so hopefully this will be good. Nope, that is wrong. Can I just do the whole screen? There. Okay. We'll do this. Alright. So, uh, I don't know exactly when Sue's play was, but it was definitely after the Christmas holidays. It was probably sometime in January, because this is December, and then if more stuff happens, and then the curtain call happened. So it happened sometime in January. The curtain call, Sue's play, talent agent. So we'll do this, we'll do this, we'll bring this up. We'll bring up safe boundaries, Lucy not mentioned. We'll bring up Let's see. Critical hit. Happy hours in February. Dial tone. And then they stop talking about Lucy. Lucy just kind of exits the conversation. And then love again. And then we have after you. High expectations. It's all in the mind. Double down, which has a lot of stuff in it. Then we have participation trophy. So let's start from the top. So curtain call. So Lucy, given what we know now, because I was a little confused about the timeline of when exactly Lucy would have done her jump. And I was like, was it the night of the play or was it like a day after? But no, it was the night of the play. We now know 100% certain that Lucy jumped the night of the play. So that means that they went through the whole play and Lucy got out of uniform. Uniform, you know what I mean, the dress. And then this is literally the next day. Still having trouble believing what happened yesterday. I know, so weird. So everyone's talking after the play, and then this talent agent shows up. Lucy says no, and looks like she's absent again. So it's very clear this is the next day. Main cast is thinking about Lucy turning down the talent agent. Main cast noticed Lucy is absent again. Lonnie Amalu tells them Lucy is no longer attending this school. Now, this isn't really protocol for teachers to, or so I've been told, it's not really protocol for teachers to say Lucy, like, if a student is simply transferring schools, they wouldn't say anything. Now, here's the out. Here's the out. We don't actually see the rest of what she says. But they say, what happened? Now, here's what I have. The main cast goes to ask Jordan what happened. Is this to get a fuller story on what happened? Did Lanny tell them about there being an accident? So it's possible Teshi could come back around and say, oh, well, you didn't see it because it was drowned out, but Lanny told them that Lucy had been in an accident. It's kind of a weird thing to say I don't know. It is possible she said that and that's how everybody knows. It's not the strongest way to go about doing this. I don't know why Teshi would do this. No, the reason Teshi didn't do this is because she didn't want anyone to know what happened to Lucy specifically. It's obviously something traumatic happened, right? They don't specifically state they don't know that she tried to kill herself or there wasn't an accident. What are you hiding? Where is she? Look at him climb up that wall, by the way. That's kind of insane. What happened to her? Tell me, please. It's possible... It's possible that they know there was some accident because Lonnie might have said there was an accident and they just didn't know. They wanted to get more information about the accident. However, this doesn't entirely work because Mike shows up and asks what happened. As if you care, you're going to tell me or not. It's none of your business. Just go away. I said, go away. It's all your fault. Jordan, I didn't want to lose my little sister. And then he realizes. I think it is still possible for Teshi to be like, oh, well, Lanny said there was an accident. They didn't know specifically. But, like, the other thing is that if they knew it was an accident that would land her in the hospital, don't you think they would have just gone to the hospital? So that doesn't 100% make sense, because as soon as Mike hears about this, he goes straight to the hospital. Paulo freaks out, doesn't know what happened, or could still possibly know about an accident, just not the full extent. Mike stalks Jordan, he lets slip that he might lose Lucy, so they don't even know any accident or attempt. I would assume they wouldn't know because if Lanny was like, oh, Lucy was in an accident and she's like in the hospital or something, the cast would have immediately gone there. Now it's still possible Lanny didn't say she was in the hospital, but it the amount of mental the problem is that you're having to go through all these mental gymnastics to try to make it make sense. And the less your audience has to do mental gymnastics, the better. It's not dramatic, it's just confusing. And this is another example of why you can't necessarily let what the most dramatic thing could happen be dictate every single thing that happens in the story, because then it just becomes confusing about what characters do and don't know. Alright, so Mike goes to the hospital. It is clear something tragic has befallen Lucy. Lucy maybe thinks she is dead. But he doesn't think that. But anyway, he says, I'm sorry. Leaving home, Paulo shows up, cries he won't get to tell Lucy he loves her. Does he know she tried to kill herself, or is he just sad she left? Did Mike tell anyone? That's the thing. So I think this happens on the same day. Yeah, this happens on the same day. So this is still the same day they learned that Lucy is no longer attending the school. Paulo eventually finds Mike again, fights him. He's going to tell her, now I can't. And they walk home. And I know it's the same day because, let's see. Blur's gone. A friend of mine left today. Why? Their family's moving. See, now here's the thing I don't know. I don't know if he's talking about Blur. He could be talking about Blur here when he says a friend of mine left today. Because I'm not sure their family's moving. He could just be lying about this. Like the whole thing about their family. But it's possible that it's just showing that Blur left him and also he's talking about Lucy at the same time. Because he shows up and he sees Blur is gone. So at what point do him and Blur have the conversation about him leaving? Does he come back? Like, it doesn't make any sense. What's the timeline? I fucking wish I could just hit Teshi up on Blue Sky and be like, hey, I'm just confused about the timeline of events. Could you please clarify exactly what's happened now that all the cats are out of the bag? But I can't do that. I can't do that, chat. And now I have to sit here and fry my brain trying to figure out the timeline of the funny cat comic. I thought they were just blowing off steam, you know. I didn't think they'd actually do anything. Leave. This right here. So Mike knows she tried to kill herself. We know that for a fact at this point, Mike doesn't specifically know what happened. He probably figured out that she tried to hurt herself or tried to kill herself. Mike knows this. We know for a fact Mike knows this because he went to the hospital and he saw the pets and they explained it. So right now, the only person we know is Lucy's family knows, and Mike probably knows. He doesn't know, he hasn't been told specifically, but he's figured it out. He's a smart kid. I assume this is all just supposed to be about Lucy. So everyone is sad because they all know about the suicide, or just sad Lucy left. I assume they're just sad Lucy left. Or it could be both. You know? I actually felt sad for David here. The one time I felt sympathetic for David. But just a little bit. Just a little bit, chat. Wow, look at that. That's a crazy fucking... That's some crazy morning wood right there. I tell you what, chat. That's fucking insane. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, chat. Let's see. So the next one is... Safe boundaries. Lucy is not mentioned at all in this chapter, actually. Don't worry about this chapter. Wait a minute. Oh, wait, no. Wait, no. Study buddy. Wait, what the fuck? I don't have study buddies listed, but nobody talks about Lucy. They're just all kind of sad. They do talk about Lucy a little bit, I think. Did you say something to her? Did you have anything to do with this? I might have been a bit reckless. I need to put this on here. Wait, I need to go back up and find safe boundaries. Oh, wait, no, that's what... Yeah, okay. Sue thinks Mike is sus. Alright, so this is the only time Lucy is, like, mentioned. What's the question? We'll forget everything in a week. Did you say something? Did you anything to do with this? They don't specifically say anything about her trying to hurt herself. But, like, they kind of know because they say what happened to her. What happened to her? Why did she leave? Like, I'm having... What happened to her? What are you hiding? What are you hiding? Where is she? So they don't know. They're asking, what is he hiding? So he clearly knows something they don't, which is her trying to hurt herself. So they don't know that she tried to jump. Do they know later? I assume, did Mike tell them later what happened? But they never, she never shows it. And that's why it's so confusing. It's like, Teshi's like, oh, you not only have to read between the lines, but you have to read between the lines of stuff that isn't even there. Critical hit. Yes, believe it or not, the world's greatest chapter also has stuff about Lucy. So she throws Lucy in his face and then feels bad about it. Uh, it's a really shitty thing for her to do, especially if she knew that Lucy tried to hurt herself. See, maybe it's outburst during a happy hour telling them about some Anna's suicide attempt. Hello, temp account. But I was the guy who intruded earlier. Sorry for that. It's detailed. I would have given a single browser tab. Still clueless. My inability to remember names just slapped me in the face. Maybe it's outburst. Hello, temp account. Okay. The only thing makes sense. We'll get to happy hour in just a moment. So happy hour, they start crying over Lucy. What could have she mentioned Mike? So they don't even know the stuff Mike said. You're hiding something. He only talks about the history essay. They only talk about what he said. Was one of my best friends. But before this, it's clear that they don't know. Hang on for my stupid play. Hope she's very happy with this new school. So they don't see anyone heard about where she's going now. So the thing is, through all of this drama, they're not mentioning any sort of Lucy trying to hurt herself. Mike mentions this, but I still don't. He still hasn't mentioned her trying to jump. He only mentioned the fact that of what happened in December. Abby's grandmother. They're comparing rumors. They're comparing rumors, but not once do they ever mention Lucy being dead or like trying to hurt herself. Let me see if I can. She's staying with her aunt now. Heard she died. Thought we were comparing rumors. Mike talks to them in December. They're furious. There's a lack of any suicide discussion or allusion. They're not alluding to any sort of suicide attempt. Dial tone. So we're jumping way ahead, all the way to dial tone. Mike dreams throughout the fucking candy multiverse. So he gets here. She says, "I'm willing to die for you. Anything to make you happy." So Mike is clearly still. This is the most evidence that we have that Mike realizes what has happened. This is reinforcing that Mike realizes that she probably tried to kill herself for him. But as we've already established, we know that Mike knows that she tried to hurt herself over him. We already know this. The question is, does everybody else know this? Maybe Teshi just forgot they're not supposed to know in the latest chapter. Nothing's explicitly said about Lucy hurting herself. What was Paulo's outburst over again? Paulo was angry at Mike for yelling, or for making her feel alone. Well, now it's not here. Here. You fucking goddamn piece of shit. How could you say that shit? How could you make her feel so alone? How would you go from Jigsaw? I'm trying to go over this. The more eyes I have on this, the better. Because I'm trying to make sure I come up with an airtight... I want to make sure I come up with an airtight argument before I accuse Teshi of creating, like, the biggest plot hole that she has ever written into the comic. And it's not just like a plot hole. This shit's a black hole. Because it's such a major plot point. Lore analysis. Jigsaw comes later. No, we already did the Jigsaw puzzle. We're done with that now. This is the last thing we're gonna go over, and then I'm gonna end stream. So dial tone. Mike clearly knows that Lucy tried to kill herself over him. Right? But it's a dream. That's Teshi's out. It's a dream. That doesn't mean anything. It's a dream. It's not real. So it could still be. Oh boy. Anyway, Lucy shows up. And they still don't. Let's see. She only like this because she can't stand the sight of you. Yeah. So there's really no mention of Lucy's suicide up until this point. So at this point, here are the people we know for a fact know about Lucy's jump. We know Augustus knows. Lucy obviously knows. Jordan knows. Lucy's mom knows. Her dad knows, and Sam knows. All the people in this room and the pets also know. All the people in this room know. I also assume that Augustus didn't stick around after he called 911 because they seemingly don't recognize him. So it's possible Augustus called 911, stayed with Lucy until the paramedics showed up, and then just left. I'm gonna go make a physical reminder to read this comic to the end so I can actually help this type of discussion. I finished reading and I don't even know that much. Let's see. So After You has a lot of information in it that raises more questions. Didn't you just figure out this is his fault? I already agreed to play this week before. I already agreed weeks before the play. Didn't you just transfer out? We heard your parents forced you to go. It wasn't your fault. So Paulo doesn't mention. Okay, so she says I wasn't supposed to come back to start. This is where things get confusing. What she want? Lucy mentions because of the suicide or just in general not meant to move back to Roseville. So if she was never meant to come, okay. So assuming the suicide, or if the suicide never happened, my question is, if the suicide never happened, would she have still said this? And if the answer is yes, why did she come back? Why was she originally... Okay, so she was originally never supposed to come back regardless of the suicide. So why did she come back? And if it isn't about her moving away, then this whole thing about her wasn't supposed to come back was because she... But the other thing is that Lucy's suicide was a spur of the moment thing. It literally happened the night of the play. Her family was already planning on moving her out before she decided to kill herself. So she was already planning to move out the day after the play happened. That was always going to happen no matter what. I already agreed weeks before the play, but we were far into rehearsals and didn't want to ruin Sue's year. It was my idea to leave the day after. What I did to you wasn't right. So so it seems like Paulo doesn't know. Didn't you just transfer out? But he also looks very anxious about this. Well, he starts looking anxious right here. Wait, didn't you just transfer out? No, I already agreed weeks before the play. She agreed to go. Is she saying no? Didn't you transfer out? We heard your parents. It wasn't your fault. No, I already agreed. Besides, and then she says, but me, I was just trying to tide you over because I knew I'd be gone. So my question is, what does she mean by... So when you say you're going to tide someone over, when you say this, that means that you're giving them something to hold on to until you can get the thing again, right? I'm giving you a little bit of money to tide you over until you get paid next, right? Lucy was giving him something that he wanted, a little bit of love, to tide him over until what? Well, if she was never supposed to come back, then what is she tiding him over for? Giving him a little bit of love to tide him over until he got over her? That doesn't make any sense. This dialogue doesn't make any sense. Even with adding in the factor of her trying to kill herself, this still doesn't make any sense. Here. To tide someone over. To help someone through a difficult period, especially with financial assistance. Yes, it was going to be a difficult period. But like tiding him over until he got over the fact she was gone? Like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's a very strange choice of words, because I knew it'd be gone. So here's the other distinction, chat. She decided to do that stuff with Paulo before she decided to kill herself. So this is not about her trying to kill herself. This is literally about her trying to give him something to hold on to after she moved away forever. What she should have said is, if her original plan was to move away forever, her original plan was, she should have said, I was just trying to give you something to remember me by, because I knew I'd be gone. The dialogue in this chapter isn't really matching up with itself. That's why trying to figure this comic out is such a you need a whole team of people. You need like a BCB lore master to figure this out, because the dialogue doesn't make any sense. Uh, Definitely you missed Jigsaw Dreams. Also, Teshi middle school and high school is not that deep, bro. Just the characters move on. Maybe it wasn't right to Paula catch feelings for her if she just went away the next day. She wasn't right with her mind though after the verbal iteration. Right? Yeah, she wasn't right with her mind. But I'm saying that all this stuff they're talking about is stuff that was already decided well before she was going to kill herself, or before she decided to. Uh, You didn't deserve that. No matter how much you wanted it, I knew you'd expect more, and I'm not ever. Uh, you deserve someone better. So this is the other point. I thought I'd get away with it and never have to see you again, me. So this is her specifically again. I thought I'd get away with having sex with you and never have to see you again, because the plan was is that I was never supposed to come back. Don't waste any time waiting on me. You mean even if you didn't leave in January? So this can go one of two ways. This could either be specifically just benign talking about, so even if you didn't leave the school in January, you still wouldn't be with me. Or it could mean he's talking about well, no, it can't be anything about the jump, right? It doesn't make any sense. She did some with apologies, but there's a lack of any suicide discussion. So this is the connection, right? Like, okay, so originally my thought process was that this and this were about the jump, right? I thought I'd get away with it and never have to see you again. I thought I'd get away with killing myself. I thought I'd get away with it and never have to see you again because I wanted to kill myself, or I was going to kill myself. And this is like, you mean even if you didn't leave in January, you would have killed yourself? But that doesn't line up, because we know that she already decided to give Paulo this before she decided to kill herself. Anyway, high expectations. Paulo fights back at Lucy. So because of this discussion, sorry, my headset died. So because of this discussion, we it doesn't necessarily disprove that Paulo didn't it doesn't necessarily prove that Paulo didn't know about the jump, but it's very clear that they're not talking about it at all. They Tesh, you could still make the argument they just didn't want to bring that up. And they just wanted to specifically talk about, but it's very strange that they would never want to bring it up. That they would never like, it's not strange, but I feel I feel like it's this massive elephant in the room. Why wouldn't they talk about it? We're going to get to that in a second. So Paulo sees the Gabagool twins together, the white cats hanging out. He starts getting angry. You can't just leave us behind. then why the fuck did you come back? You didn't have to wait. I told you I'm not here for any of you. Then why the fuck did you come back? Why didn't you just stay gone? Why would you torture us like this? I feel if Paulo knew that she tried to kill herself, even though obviously he knows now it wasn't successful, why would he say this? It's almost like it, and obviously he doesn't mean it like this, but in that context, it could almost read as, why didn't you just stay gone? Why didn't you just die? You know, if you don't want to see us anymore, why didn't you just stay dead? Obviously, that's not what he meant. That was because Lucy's plan didn't win as she wanted because of low morale. Lucy killed herself because Mike wanted. Okay, now it doesn't make sense to me. Like Mike, she's killing herself because she's spiraling in her own mind. Because right when she has to move away is when Mike wants to be her friend again. Even though there's the internet, they could call each other. No. She's like, nope, the most logical thing to do. Why did I let them do that? And that's when her mind starts spiraling into, I'm a parasite, I'll push him away again. So I can at least understand her mentality. And there is a reason, by the way, why the text is done this way. Look, listen. See, it's going down, right? Her mind is literally spiraling. That's the reason why the panels are and the text is framed like this. It is structured this way because she's spiraling in her mind. So it makes sense. Let's talk about lack of any suicide discussion. Also in this one, it's all in the mind. Here's another interesting point. I just feel super responsible, for all of this. All of what? Ugh. You're not the person that put me in another school. Was that all that happened? I'd rather not talk about it. Okay. So here is... Does Sue know what happened? Is she asking this because she knows what happens and she only wants to talk about it if Lucy is comfortable with talking about it? Or does she actually just not know what happened? So what is the truth? She says okay dejectedly. Is this okay like she's disappointed that Lucy won't open up to her? Or is she saying okay like, I get it. I get why you don't want to talk about that. Or maybe there are rumors. It's so vague. It is so vague that it could literally go either way. That is the frustrating thing about this comic is that it feels like sometimes Teshi doesn't want to commit to anything because she wants to be able to change her mind later. Or she is very bad at getting across her intentions. So I think, and this is me playing devil's advocate, what I personally believe is that this means she doesn't know. Devil's advocate says that she could possibly know, but she only wants to talk about it if Lucy does. Anyway, let's move on to Double Down. I'm blowing my voice box out on this. I should be not doing that. So let's go all the way over here. Alright. So this is better, huh? Sleeping next to Daisy's fucking stalker. Disappearing for months when you feel like it. Never talking to anyone about any of it. I disappeared for months because I tried to kill myself, you idiot. First of all, this is not true. This is literally... This is either Teshi trying to rewrite what happened, like trying to recontextualize what happened without actually fixing the original pages to match up with it. But she disappeared she was already going to be gone. So this is a lie. And if it's not a lie, and this is what like we're supposed to believe is actually the reason she left, then Teshi needs to rewrite what she wrote before to match up with this because it doesn't line up. I remember when this page came out, everybody was confused. They were like, "Wait, so does Paulo know she tried to kill herself or not? Because he's never indicated that he's known this." Like, Paulo is the kind of guy, I believe. Like, why wouldn't he bring it up here? Why wouldn't he be like, like really scared or worried about her because of what she tried to do to herself? Like, you think he would be like really trying to play it safe because he's worried about her getting to that dark place again. Maybe it's because 2008 kids were supposed to be more independent. Where are the parents? If I'm going to say, and I remember correctly, people don't usually try to contact for help when they're already spiraled down. I know that she wasn't trying to contact for help. So Paulo says, and you think I want that happening again? You think I'm happy standing back there, here, watching that happen all over again? What did he mean by this? So first of all, if this is the first time he's learning this information that she tried to kill herself, this is a terrible... this response sucks. I feel like if this was the first time he learned about this, he should have stopped dead in his tracks. This should have shut him up. He should have been like, "You tried to do what?" Instead, he's like, "And well, you think I want you to do that again?" What the fuck kind of response is that to their friend? So this implies that he did already know. He did already know, and he didn't want to bring it up. But if he didn't know, then this is just a weird response to have. But the thing is, he never mentions the jump here. When he is throwing all of this baggage in her face, he never mentions her trying to kill herself. Disappearing for months when you feel like it. I believe that this was just a really poorly written response to her saying that she tried to kill herself. And that he didn't actually know. But the devil's advocate says that he did know. This is why I'm like, okay, it's possible that they knew and they never wanted to talk about it. But when these pages came out, people were confused about whether or not he actually knew, because they were like, well, when did he find out? They never have a moment where they talk about it. And that is the thing. That is the fucking thing. There is no chapter in this comic where the main characters, her friends, come together to be sad about her trying to kill herself. They never mention it at all. Every discussion about Lucy is about how she moved away. So there are things that I know for a fact they know, and the things that I don't know if they know. The things I know for a fact they know is obviously she moved away. The things I don't know for a fact they know is if she tried to kill herself. And I mean before this point. Outside of Mike. Did Mike eventually... It feels weird that Mike wouldn't tell them, or that they wouldn't have a discussion about it. The same issue happened with Behind Closed Doors. So we'll bring this up, and then we'll bring up Table for One. Now, I have a video about Behind Closed Doors, so if you want a deeper analysis of this, go ahead and watch that. But so Paulo, for those of you who haven't read, Paulo is hiding in a closet, in Mike's closet, while he hears everybody talk shit about him. And so they don't really resolve this. So when table for one happens, Mike is completely surprised here. Wait, no, it's the next chapter. Okay, no, it's the next chapter. Is it also the next chapter? Yeah, it's this one. So Mike is complete. I don't know what happened, what you two talked about, but if you think you went over the line, you should let him know. So, oh, I think Paula hates me. What? Why would he even? So if Mike knew about this, why would he be like, I don't understand why Paulo's upset? He knows why. But the thing is that he doesn't act like he's trying to hide something. Unless this is the panel. Maybe this is the panel where he's like, he knows. Oh, maybe this is the out. But the thing is that Teshi didn't have that idea. This chapter was written way after this chapter was made. So you can't even use that. And the same thing is happening here. It's the same shit all over again. I'm gonna pass out. Do you remember this memorized? Yeah, I do. I'm almost done, chat. So then we finally get to participation trophy. Right after your play was done, your whole class got hit with the news about the girl that very next day. Of course nobody talked about your play when it was over. Everybody was too busy having to deal with their classmate almost dying. But the thing is, it wasn't just her class that saw the play, right? It was the whole school. Because I know for a fact Jasmine isn't in it. So like, or Jasmine isn't in their class. Now, you could have gotten away with this about like Lucy moving away. Everyone's too busy with their classmate almost dying. But how did they know? They didn't know. They didn't know. But you see, you see chat. You see chat. Oh, but they did know because it was right here. But I didn't show you. So it's still not a plot hole. Even though nobody acts like they knew, they know what's going on. This shit's fucking crazy. It doesn't. You understand why I say this is clumsy at best and just straight up like confusing at worst? Like, also we know for a fact that the the senior squad definitely knows about the jump, by the way, because of this. Like, I didn't realize she was going through, someone ought to keep an eye on her, right? I know I'd want to. So like the senior squad definitely knows. It's hyper infuriating until proven otherwise. It's called a plot hole, yeah. But the thing is that I want to make sure I am able to accurately get the information across. I would rather get it right the first time. I'd rather not give misinformation. That's why I want to figure this out. I would rather not spend all this work determining that it's a plot hole just for Teshi to do like, oh yeah, well they just they just happen to not talk about it at all. That is the only way this is not a plot hole. Is if Teshi is like, oh, they just decided never to talk about it. And this also makes Sue feel really self-centered. Because Sue was also upset about Lucy jumping. Like, it it kind of damages Sue's character, and also doesn't line up with what we saw. Like, Sue was never talking about her play ever. God. Anyway, I gotta give my voice a rest. But you guys get what I mean. Uh, I I wish I could reach out to Teshi to get clarification, but I I don't think that's going to happen. So until next time, chat. Uh, you guys have a good day and try not to think too hard about the funny cat comic.